Welcome to StriveScan College Launchpad. We're so excited to have you participating in this event. We have some fantastic schools here with us today. Each will have about 6 minutes to share more about their institution, but they will be around for the entire session to answer questions. My name is Beverly and I will be your facilitator. Before we get started, a few housekeeping items. Your camera and your microphone are off, so the panelists cannot see or hear you. You can use the Q&A button on your screen to type your questions to our presenters at any time. This is just one of many different sessions happening, so be sure to check out the schedule on the website. This presentation is being recorded and will be available at strivescan.com/launch. I'd now like to turn it over to our first presenter, Western Illinois University.
Awesome. Thank you so much. All right. Good evening, everybody. Thanks all for joining us. My name is Kate Romanaggi. I am an admissions counselor here at Western Illinois University. I serve students and I live in the Chicagoland area. So if there's any Chicago folks out there, nice to see you. With that, I'll go ahead and get started. I'm going to start with just some fast facts and just a bit of an overview of Western Illinois. We do have 2 different campuses at Western. I'll show you those here on a map in just a moment. We are a smaller mid-sized school at about 7,500 students. So I kind of like to think of us as the Goldilocks size, but it's not too big, it's not too small, it's just right. Big enough, we have the resources of a larger school, but as you can see, we've got small class sizes. It's easy to get to know your professors, things like that. We offer more than 60 different majors. I'll touch on some of those here in just a moment. 94% of our classes are taught by full-time faculty. Our average class size is now actually 17 students, so even a little bit smaller than what you see here. We do have a 13-to-1 student to faculty ratio. So for every 13 students on campus, we have at least 1 faculty member professors. As I mentioned, we have those 2 different campuses. Our first campus is in the Quad Cities, right up here on the border of Iowa. That is our smaller commuter campus. Our larger residential campus is in Macomb, which if you're coming from the Chicago area is about 3 or 4 hours, depending on where you live, right in between Quincy and Peoria. Again, this is our larger campus where most of our students are housed. We've got our residence hall, our football field kind of has that traditional collegiate feel. In terms of academics, as I mentioned, we offer more than 60 different majors. You can see them all listed here on our website, wiu.edu/academics. We divide all of our different majors into 4 different colleges, but don't worry, no matter what college your major falls into, you're still graduating with that Western Illinois degree. We also don't require you to know what major you want to do coming in. You're definitely welcome to come in undecided. No matter what major you have, we're going to be offering good hands-on experiences, small class sizes, and really committed faculty. Some examples of those hands-on experiences: while our agriculture students are able to access our student-run farm just about a mile off campus, it's one of the largest in the country. Our biology students have access to our Kippy Life Sciences facility, which is down on the Mississippi River, so they can study kind of the water ecology and the plants out there. If you're interested in law enforcement and justice administration, which is essentially our criminal justice program, or maybe forensic chemistry, we have a really cool crime lab. You can learn to analyze fingerprints, analyze DNA, a hair strand, things like that. Our theater students are going to be doing everything for their production. So they're bringing in ideas, they're directing the plays, they're designing the plays, they're also doing the costumes, the set, the electric. So really cool experiences there. And if you're interested in broadcasting and journalism, maybe being on ESPN3, that's something that our broadcasting and journalism students get to do. They're streamed live for our basketball games and our football games and things like that. So again, we really like to offer those hands-on experiences. No matter what major you fall into, you're going to be getting some of those awesome experiences. In terms of activities on campus, we offer a lot of different things at Western. We do have over 225 clubs on campus. There's a huge range, everything from a running club to a Pokemon Go club to an anime club to a paintball club. Again, a huge, huge range. We also have 28 fraternities and sororities. So if you're interested in joining Greek life, this is a really great option. We do have 17 D1 sports teams. So we do play at that most competitive D1 level. Those games are a lot of fun and they're free for all of our students to attend. We also offer club sports and intramural sports. So if you're interested in playing at a little bit less of a competitive level, we offer a lot of different opportunities there. We also have our fitness center on campus, which is awesome for working out. And we do offer over 2,500 on-campus jobs. In terms of living on campus, we have 6 different residence halls for our students. Our freshmen and sophomores do live on campus for those first 2 years. We also have 10 living learning communities within those residence halls. Those are essentially themed floors. So if you want to live with students of a similar interest, maybe a STEM program or our honors floor or something like that, that's an awesome option. We do have 2 dining centers, 3 campus restaurants, Chick-fil-A, Qdoba, and Starbucks, 4 convenience stores. Those are all the different places you can use your meal plan while you're on campus as well. And we do have a free bus system that goes all throughout Macomb and through campus. In terms of applying to Western, our application is still open. So if there's any seniors in the crowd, you can still apply to Western, but if they have, juniors, sophomores, things like that, these are our current requirements for this upcoming year. If you have a 2.75 GPA or higher on a 4.0 scale, you're automatically accepted to Western. If you have between a 2.0 and a 2.74, we'll request some additional materials. We are mostly looking at that GPA. We're looking at your high school transcript. We are test optional. So up to you if you want to submit that SAT or ACT score. If we have any transfers in the crowd, we are looking at your GPA if you finish 24 credit hours from whatever institution you're coming from. If you have above a 2.0 GPA, you're automatically accepted to Western. Lastly, I'll just mention some different scholarships as well. We have location-based scholarships for students coming from Chicago, St. Louis, or the Macomb area. We offer an alumni scholarship for students that have had parents or grandparents attend Western. For our transfer students with a certain GPA, you can get $2,500 a year per year, which is awesome. And for our incoming freshmen, if you're coming to Western with a 3.3 GPA or higher, you're automatically earning $3,000, $6,000, or $8,000 a year. We even have a petition available now, so you can actually move between those levels if you're above a 3.0 GPA. So super awesome opportunities for kind of those scholarship and financial support. With that, I invite y'all to connect with us. We have got our admissions email up here. We've got our visit website. We've got lots of awesome stuff coming up this summer and fall. And of course, 2 different Instagrams to check out as well. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Next up is Johnson & Wales University.
Good evening. My name is Victoria Jeffries, and I am the regional admissions representative for Johnson & Wales University. I physically live in Indiana. I cover the entire state of Indiana, a bit of Ohio and Kentucky. But the thing I really love about our university, it is in that Goldilocks size, but you have the beauty of choosing between 2 very different locations. So we have a campus that's in Charlotte, North Carolina, as well as one that is in Providence, Rhode Island. Providence is our larger campus, has little less than 6,000 students that call that city home. And then our Charlotte campus has about 1,300 students that are there. We have a small graduate population, but none of those are ever part of our classroom instruction. We are a school that believes in being ingrained in both of our communities. We're located in the urban portion of both of those cities. Providence is in, of course, downtown Providence. Charlotte and the Queen City is known as the uptown area, is where we're located. We do consider ourselves sort of a residential school because we want our freshmen and sophomores, we require them to live on campus unless you're 50 miles and you have a relative that lives that distance from our campus, then you would be exempt from that. Of course, as with all the universities, we want to make sure our students have plenty to do. So our clubs and organizations do range from the standard student organizations all the way through things that have social conscientious, fraternities and sororities. We even have some that are pretty fun. We have a bee club, which started out as honeybee awareness, and now they are actually apiaries. So we have students that produce honey on our campus. We are a Division III university, so we do have sports that are divided between our 2 campuses. Some things make more sense in North Carolina, where others make more sense in Charlotte. So we have varsity, we do have club and intramural levels. I think our unique things that we have are rowing, as well as 2 different equestrian teams that we offer for our students. When you think about what you can study at Johnson & Wales, we have several different, I guess, unique and interesting takes on what we do. We started out as a school that wanted to produce graduates that knew how to do something. So within our over 80 majors and minor combinations, there are going to be things that are very industry specific, culinary arts, Cannabis entrepreneurship, we started as a business school, so we have very robust things in that. We even have partnerships for some accelerated programs because we want our students to start in their majors from day one. We want to teach them what they want to learn. We want to have them take full advantage of our learning labs and a hands-on industry relevant experience. And then we want to send them somewhere to be able to do the thing that they've learned and the thing that they've practiced. All students have to have at least one internship before they graduate. So even during a pandemic, we had 2,100 students complete useful internships, which means that they were not all at the same location based off of their major. We like for our students to have internships that want to gear toward what their career goals are. To be able to afford to come to Johnson & Wales, we end up giving aid to over 95% of our students, be it need-based and or institutional and merit scholarships. We are test optional. Every student is reviewed for merit scholarships when they apply, so there's no additional paperwork. But then we do have national student organizations that we award scholarships for participation as well as competition completion at the state and national levels as well for our students. I already mentioned that we're test optional. We do have early action. We do rolling admissions after that. You can submit test scores and those sort of details. Please feel free to drop questions if you have more detailed inquiries about that. With us being a private school, we have the same tuition for in-state and out-of-state students. I like the idea that we are an urban campus, but we are involved in our city. I like this picture of Gaby Commons. We are one of the largest green spaces in downtown Providence, as well as taking up a good portion of uptown Charlotte. And we are one of the new stops on the new monorail that is in the city of Charlotte. Quick flash of my contact information. If there's anything that you need, look us up on our social media site. It gives you all of our handles to all of our different platforms, but I do hope to hear from you soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is St. Louis University.
Hello, everyone. My name is Megan Christian Miller, and I serve the local territory in the St. Louis and St. Charles area here in St. Louis. And I just want to tell you a little bit about SLU, or St. Louis University, tonight. So we are a Jesuit school. So we are one of 27 in the United States. We were founded in 1818 as one of the first universities west of the Mississippi. We have 2 campuses. One will be here in St. Louis, where I am currently, as well as in Madrid, Spain. In our undergraduate enrollment, we're roughly about 8,000. And once you put together our law school, our medical school, our school for professional studies, it'll put us at about 12,000 in total. Going on to the Jesuit education, I like to say that, you know, while we are religiously affiliated with the Catholic faith, we are part of the Jesuit order, which is the largest order of Catholic priests. And we are very welcoming to people of all faiths. We believe in the cura personalis, which is educating the whole person through the mind, body, and spirit, and really making sure that we're providing a great education to grow students as future leaders. Big part of that aspect is really being really service oriented. A lot of our students will go and see them in the St. Louis area. Back in right before the pandemic hit, we completed over 2 million hours in unmandated service. That's something that I think is absolutely fantastic about our campus, that our students are incredibly service oriented. We offer over 90 different undergraduate degree programs, going all the way from the sciences to the humanities, all of our programs also being direct admit, with some of our competitive options being nursing, occupational therapy, physical therapy, athletic training, as well as flight science. We do have our own flight science program here. And depending on how you would like to mix it up, we offer a mountain load, I always like to say, of different minors and concentrations. Big part of our student involvement at SLU. So we are the only D1 athletics in the city of St. Louis. A lot of them you'll hear, especially during March Madness, the Billikens, our men and women's soccer, as well, tennis. Those are where you'll see a lot of our students. They'll go to every single one of those sports events. They're all free to go to as a student. We have over 30 different clubs and sports, and I would like to say that they're just as competitive as they are on the D1 level. Also highlighting our new esports team that we have, over 50 different intramural programs, 150 different student organizations. So I like to think that it brings in the nice campus size We really are one of those, it can be whatever you want it to be. I like to say it's as small or as large whenever you go into the student organizations. We do have Greek life here on campus. We have 7 fraternities, 7 sororities, as well as 10 multicultural fraternities. Going into a little bit about Midtown St. Louis, as a St. Louis native myself, it's probably one of my favorite different areas on campus. We are located right within Midtown, about a 2-square block, going into the City Foundry, as well as the fabulous Fox Theater in the Symphony. Great thing about St. Louis is that we're also really close to Forest Park, and everything is free in this area. So the zoo, the museums, tons of different festivals and fairs all around the city all year long, as well as with our Madrid, Spain location. So that's right outside the city center of Madrid. Very easy to go and get back and forth in class between your homestay, or if you were doing an apartment out there. It's a full service campus is what I would say for any students. You could go and study all 4 years in our Madrid campus, or you could go and have a just semester long study abroad experience. What you would pay to be a St. Louis student is exactly what you would pay to study in our Madrid, Spain campus. Big part about being a Billiken also is just a couple of different ways to apply. So you can go through the Common App or directly on our website, and then you need your official transcript. We always recommend a letter of recommendation, resume, or an academic interview with one of us. We are SAT and SAT optional, and we will be continuing to do so for currently right now in our future. If you are an international student, we do require that you send us the English proficiency exam through TEFL, ACT, SAT, as well as going into some of our scholarships. Oh, pardon me. So all of our students are automatically awarded scholarships based on merit, anywhere from $4,000 to $25,000 a year, automatically the moment they are accepted into the university. I always like to highlight some of our premier scholarships. So going into the presidential scholarship, that is a full tuition scholarship of $49,000. You need a minimum of a GPA of a 3.85 in order to apply. And they go and they do their interviews in the spring for that. Those are for our students, I would like to say are very involved. They are the students that are going to be usually the top academic performing in their school, as well as with our Martin Luther King Jr. Scholarship. So for our students that are really into activism, really being the starters, the self-movers in their high schools, they'll interview for that also with the spring. And that's a minimum of a 3.25 GPA. And also that can be a topper onto any of your regular merit scholarships. Now, while I may not be Jennifer Tammer, my name is Megan Christian, and I'll be dropping my contact information in the chat if you have any questions.
Thank you. Next up is Xavier University.
Well, thank you so much, Beverly, and welcome everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. My name is Julie Nelson. I am the Assistant Dean of Admission at Xavier University in Cincinnati, Ohio, and I would love to tell you a little bit about my Jesuit institution. Thanks, Megan, for teeing that part of the presentation up. I appreciated that for sure. If you know anything about Xavier, you know we are the Musketeers, and if you know anything about Musketeers, you know that their rallying cry is all for one and one for all. And so that is really the way we live our experience at Xavier. Certainly being one of those 27 Jesuit schools in the country, we have that same cura personalis, that same care for the entire person. But that starts not just when you are a student at Xavier, but certainly through the admission process. There are 18 of us on our admission team at Xavier. And so we are going to work with you and your families as you go through this process. One of my favorite traditions at Xavier is really the embodiment of this all for one spirit. And that is on your move-in day as a freshman, as you pull up to that residence hall full of excitement and nervousness and angst and whatever you're feeling at that moment, you're greeted by these folks, the Move crew, in their highlighter yellow shirts and probably full of donuts and Red Bull. They are there not just to welcome you as part of the Xavier family, but certainly to say to you, hey, you don't have to carry anything. So our Move crew is there to bring in all that stuff you've packed into your car to make your dorm room feel like home. Xavier is a medium-sized institution, so we are 5,200 undergraduate students. And so that really does put us pretty solidly in that medium-sized category. And you've heard a lot from my colleagues here tonight about what that means from a student experience standpoint. But I would also like to say that when you think about a medium-sized institution, yes, we have qualities that make us feel bigger and make us feel smaller, but I also think it's really important to know where those students come from. So at Xavier, we have students from just about all 50 states, except for North Dakota. I don't know what's going on. We'll get one next year, I promise. But I think what's really important to know is that 40% of our students are the only ones that come from their high school. I'm sure, you could probably look at your own high school and say, oh, it seems like everybody from my high school goes to fill in the blank university. At Xavier, it's much more common to be the one person or the two, one of two people or one of three or four that come from your high school. And I think that's a really important distinction because it gives you the opportunity to really start to create your own community at Xavier. So as you start, I always remind students, you chose Xavier for the reason that it was a good fit for you. There's 1,200 other students. We usually have about 1,200 freshmen. There's 1,200 or 1,199, to come in and say, they all chose it because it was right for them. So we have that in common to begin with, but certainly that is one of the things that we really take a great deal of pride in, that there is a wonderful community at Xavier, not just among the students, but with the faculty and the staff. And that's why we certainly call it part of the Xavier family. And just like Megan said, we are home to all faiths. You don't have to be Catholic to come. And while, we are built on that Jesuit tradition, we really welcome the conversations that happen in our classrooms. Average class size is just about 20 students. So we really welcome those conversations about faith, about justice, about social responsibility. And that happens no matter how you believe, or even if you don't believe. We are probably best known at Xavier for our College of Nursing. That is our largest major, but we do offer about 90 different programs across 4 colleges. So lots of things to choose from. Here's the list of the top 10, just like David Letterman would do. I'm really dating myself at this point. But I would say in addition to these most popular majors, we also have amazing programs in things like musical theater and digital innovation in film and television, in sport marketing and sport management. We have some great programs in the arts. So really, as you're considering Xavier, it's not just we're known for this one thing. We have students that are really working across the curriculum. And no matter which major you choose, or even if you do come in as an exploratory major, which is our way of saying undecided, all of our students at Xavier get what we call a success team. So coming in as a freshman, you have a whole squad of people to make sure that you can be successful, not just in the classroom, but outside of the classroom, and already start thinking about, what am I going to do when my 4 years at Xavier is done? So all of our students get an academic advisor, they get a success coach, they get a career coach, as well as a financial aid advisor. So someone to really lean on with these questions. Some of the questions you probably would anticipate, like, ooh, do I really need to take this class? Or, oh, I thought I might change my major. But there are a lot of things that pop up during that freshman year, no matter where you go, that you might not have any kind of experience with. And so that's where that success coach comes in, to really be that person, to be that sounding block, to give you kind of a resource for those bumps in the road that are going to happen, to make sure that those bumps in the road don't become roadblocks to your future success. Being that we are in the city of Cincinnati, campus is just about 10 minutes from the heart of downtown. We really give our students some unparalleled access to some of the biggest companies in the world. In fact, 5 of the Fortune 500 companies are headquartered in Cincinnati, and about 360 of the Fortune 500 companies have a presence in Cincinnati. So we really build on that with our professional mentor network. And so our students oh, I'm sorry. I didn't even see you pop up. So our students are able to connect to those folks as well. So thank you. I have lots of other things, obviously, that I would love to say, but we can, I will share my contact information in the Q&A. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Next up is University of Central Missouri.
All right. Well, good evening. My name is Jared. I'm the Assistant Director for Admissions at the University of Central Missouri. I'm going to just briefly talk to you a little bit about UCM. So UCM, we have 150 different academic programs. Kind of the top 5 are the ones that our students, a lot of our majors are in, are education, business, nursing, aviation, and criminal justice. Regardless of the degree that you get at UCM, you're going to have hands-on learning. For example, our education students, they get in the classroom early and often, usually like their sophomore year while they're here at UCM to kind of get that experience of what it's like from the teacher's perspective. Business students, we have a way that you can actually trade money on the New York Stock Exchange with our lab that we have for our students. Our nursing students, we also have a simulation lab, state-of-the-art simulation lab where these mannequins, they can practice giving birth. You'll draw blood on them. They'll follow you with their eyes, all that kind of stuff. We do own and operate our own airport for our aviation students, whether they want to be a professional pilot or airport management and those types of things. And it's about 5 miles just outside of where we're located. And our criminal justice students, we bring in lots of employers from different areas. We have a police academy on campus as well. For students that don't necessarily know exactly what they want to do as far as a degree, we do have an open options program. And that open options program allows you to do some self-exploration, working with an academic advisor, working with a career advisor, maybe doing some job shadowing with a different degree or a different career that you're looking to go into to help set you up for success and find out exactly what you would like to go into. As far as campus life goes, we have 11 residence halls. We do have a 2-year Le Bon requirement at the University of Central Missouri. Now, there are some exemptions to that. If you live within 65 miles of Warrensburg, you can commute from home if you would like. As far as on-campus dining options go, we do have 2 dining halls, and then we have lots of different other options, where that's Taco Bell, Spin Pizza, Starbucks, Einstein Brothers, Chick-fil-A, different things like that that are on our campus. We also have our SHIPs. They're called Special Housing Interest Programs, and what they are is a floor in a residence hall where all those students are that major. For example, if you're an education student, you would live on the education ship if you would like to. And basically that floor is going to be all education students. It allows you to live with people that are studying something similar to you, develop friendships, maybe even a study group or 2, because for the next 4 years or so, you're probably going to be taking classes with those students to help kind of navigate you through that time and kind of set you off on the right foot. Besides going to class, living in the dorms, you're probably going to want to get involved while you're on campus, much like all the other schools have talked about. We do have student organizations on our campus, over 200 of them. With that, we do have academic departmental, that could be your chemistry club, your biology club, different things like that. We also have social Greek fraternities and sororities on our campus as well. Special interest groups, honors organizations, religious organizations, you name it, we're probably going to offer it on our campus. And if not, you can actually start your own club or organization if you would like while you're on campus. As far as intramural sports go, you can see some of them listed up there. Those are more of the popular ones, but we do have different ones. Every semester is always different, the fall and the spring. And there's lots of different ways to be competitive or non-competitive, just want to have fun and those types of things. Obviously, making the transition from high school or another school can be challenging. We want to help support you while you're at UCM. So with that, we have a Success Advising Center, and this is a place where you meet with an academic advisor that is tailored towards your degree. So if you're an education student, you're going to have an education advisor. If you are a business student, you're going to have a business advisor. They know your degree program. They're going to make sure you're taking the right classes to graduate with that degree program as well. As far as other academic support that we offer for our students, we do offer free tutoring and writing help for our students if they need that help. We have free career counseling and mental health services. And the career counseling is really cool. They actually have a class that helped called Career Readiness course that helps prepare you from transitioning from being a college student with going out into the workforce and that. As far as the cost, kind of just giving you a breakdown overall of that. If you're in state, you can see the cost there. If you're out of state, you can also see the cost over there. Tuition is based off of 30 credit hours, so 15 in the fall and 15 in the spring. Textbooks is just kind of an estimate on the high end for our students. Just kind of depends upon where you get your textbooks and what they can cost in your major and those types of things. That is the cost for our residence halls, and then also for the first meal plan with that. And you can kind of see where we compare nationally, as well as within the state of Missouri when it comes to our tuition costs. Talking about scholarships a little bit, we do have our freshman red and black scholarship. It is a merit-based scholarship. It is based off of your ACT score and your high school GPA. So you can see on this grid, wherever your ACT score or SAT score would combine with your high school GPA is a scholarship that you can get for 4 years or for 8 semesters. You can see we also offer test optional admissions. So if you have a 2.75 high school GPA or higher, I can guarantee you that you're going to get admitted to UCM regardless of what your ACT score is. And with that, you're automatically going to receive our $1,000 red and black scholarship. Now, there's always an option to go above that with that as well. Also, if you're an out-of-state student, we do have the UCM out-of-bounds state scholarship as well. If you're an in-state Missouri student and you're part of the A+ program, we do have an A+ recognition program as well. Or if you took any kind of dual credit through UCM, we do have a dual credit scholarship for our students as well. I'm running a little bit on time. We do have a scholarship finder for our Alumni Foundation scholarships with that as well. And then a little bit about the Berg and how to visit us. This is kind of where we're located. We're about an hour from Kansas City, 3 hours from the St. Louis metro area. Kind of a small town, 20,000 people. We're right next to Whiteman Air Force Base, so home of the B-2. You hear them fly over town all the time as well. As far as our applying and admissions requirements, kind of just filling out the application, whether it's on our website or on the Common App. And then as far as our requirements go, we're looking for that 2.75 high school GPA. Or if you don't have that, we're looking for a 21 on the ACT and a 2.0 high school GPA. So that's all I got. Hopefully I snuck that all in.
Very close. Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so that we can go over some Q&A with our participants. So to start, what advice would you give someone going through the college search process?
I'll start us off, Kate from Western Illinois. My big piece of advice would be to visit campus if you're able to. There's lots of different ways to get to all these different campuses. I know for Western, you can of course drive. We also offer the train. The Amtrak train runs through Macomb. So do your best to kind of find those ways to visit your different campuses. It's a really great way to kind of get a vibe from the campus, meet some current students. Those are usually the tour guides on campus, and just get a feel for that campus community.
It's Victoria from Johnson and Wales. I always tell families to make it personal, particularly tell students to make it personal, because you're an individual and you need to make sure that your university matches you as an individual. If you're into sports, of course, make that a focus. If you're more into the arts, make that your focus. But I've used the adage the last couple of years. Look at a university like it's a person. Is it a person you'd want to spend 4 years with? So that's my advice.
I would say definitely drop your guardian off at the Union and take a lap around campus. Can you envision yourself there? When you walk around, do people smile? Do they look happy to be there? Is everyone walking around with their head down and their AirPods in, their headphones in? Really see it for yourself. Can you imagine yourself walking around and being a student there? Sit in a classroom by yourself. Everyone thinks I'm crazy when I say this, but I think for a lot of the students that I've worked with and myself as a student at one point, that is what made the biggest difference for me whenever I chose my alma mater. Was it a good fit for me? Kind of what everyone else has been saying, but also could I see myself being there for 4 years?
Julie from Xavier, I would say right now, I would set up an email address that is just for your college search stuff. You are going to get more emails than you possibly knew existed. You may already be getting more emails than you possibly knew existed. And yes, they are automated. Yes, we have wonderful ways to send lots of emails at once. But if you choose to answer one of those emails, know that there are real people on the other side who receive those responses. We hope that you would treat everyone with some great respect, but as somebody whose other duties as assigned include answering a lot of those emails, I know that not always do you have your best customer service face on. So just know that we are sending you information because we think you might be a good fit for us. If you're not interested in our institution, just scroll down to the bottom of the email and click the unsubscribe button. Keep your comments to yourself, but set up that email right away and use it all the time and then check it. I know you probably have that little box on your phone that says you have 4,500 emails sitting there waiting to be read. You're going to get a lot more in the next year and a half.
Yeah, Jared from UCM. As far as advice, I would say echoing what everybody else said, but also looking at cost of attendance and how your scholarships outweigh the rest of the cost after your scholarships are applied, what you would still be required to pay, whether you're planning to use financial aid. And I would sit down with your parents or your guardians right now and talk about how you're going to pay for college. Being able to have that talk now will hopefully alleviate any kind of issues or anything like that when it comes to like looking for a school to find out if it is too expensive to attend and those types of things.
Thank you. What is one thing you want students to remember about your school?
For Western Illinois, the thing that I hear a lot from current students is just that our size and our Western community really allows for a lot of awesome opportunities. It's really easy to get involved and move into leadership roles within organizations because of kind of our sweet spot with that size, and this can help you build your resume and skills for getting that job after college. And it's also really easy to get to know your professors, and our professors are super willing to help you out. It's very common for them to know you by name and everything, and that's also going to be really beneficial if you want to do research in undergrad and things like that, and especially with those connections for post-grad jobs as well. So I would just say that our community is something that really makes Western very special.
For Johnson and Wales, I try to impart on families that we were started as a school that wants to teach you to do something specific, but we've built on that over the years from the beginning to give you a chance to practice the thing that we're teaching you. And ultimately, we want to send you somewhere to do the thing that we've taught you. So those 3 levels of being hands-on, starting our students in your major from day one, having learning labs in almost every major. Even our business students have an investment lab, and they get to use Johnson and Wales money on the stock market. And then again, with the numbers I shared from us sending students out to those internships, we teach you, you practice it, and we send you somewhere to do it. Thanks.
Hey, Megan from SLU. I would always want to tell my students, the big thing to really remember about us is like the experience in the community. Really a big part of our, mission is really being men, women, individuals for others. And I feel like that community impact that we have on the St. Louis area, but also globally and nationally, it's not just do we prepare you, kind of what Victoria was saying, our role is not just to prepare you just for college and to graduate college, but to really be a better individual for the world after. So, we, like many other universities, we have faculty mentorship, research, but it's also really a big part of it is what are you going to do with it after? And that's what I'd like to say is a big thing to remember about our university is really just it's a good sweet spot of experience meets community.
I would say from a serious standpoint, we are really proud of the fact that 98% of our students are doing meaningful work within 6 months of graduation. And the way we identify that or clarify that is that they're either in a full-time job, they're enrolled in graduate school, or they are doing a volunteer program like Teach for America, City Year, Jesuit Volunteer Corps. So again, they've been prepared well to go out and, as St. Ignatius would say, set the world on fire. From a fun standpoint, we are the only school, we were actually the first school in North America with a pizza ATM. So 24/7, you can walk up to a machine on campus, give it $9, 3 minutes later, you get to choose between 4 different kinds of pizza. 3 minutes later or 9 minutes later, you get a 12-inch pizza, hot, ready to go in a box with a plastic knife taped inside. So if you want to share, you can, but otherwise take it down yourself. We won't tell.
I don't know if I can beat that, but I would say
Sorry,
affordability.
Jared.
You're totally fine. Affordability and being close to the Kansas City metro area, offering that small town college experience, but also being close to a large city. As far as fun would go, I would say Mo the Mule, the guy that's hanging out right behind me. It's our mascot. I think it's a really cool mascot.
Perfect. And our last question, what is one myth you'd like to debunk about the college admissions process?
One thing that I would like to debunk is that you need to know exactly what you want to study going into college, know exactly what you want to do after college. Part of why college is so awesome is you get to explore a lot of different options, a lot of different opportunities. And so at most colleges, it is totally okay to go in undecided. I know there are some schools out there where you do have to know your major ahead of time, but a lot of these schools, you can come in undecided, try out some different classes, see what you might like. A lot of the time too, there's probably some different majors that you've never even heard of. I know I work with a lot of students and I'll talk about, recreation, park and tourism administration, which is a major that we offer that they've never heard of, or music therapy or forensic chemistry or fire science, right? There's all these majors that you probably haven't heard of. So definitely go on to the majors page of all the colleges you're interested in, check out those ones you've never heard of, and be open to those different opportunities that college will bring for you.
I believe that more families should understand it's okay to be pointy instead of well-rounded. If you are a kiddo that's got one thing you love to do and you've done that one thing for all of high school, don't go picking up 15 different clubs and organizations and hobbies. If you're committed to volunteering, make volunteering your thing that you spotlight in your application. Or if it's working for your family business. So it's okay to have that one distinct interest that holds and occupies your time, your talent, and your passion, instead of spreading yourself over 8 different things. Be pointy, not well-rounded.
Victoria, you stole the words right out of my mouth. I think a big thing is a lot of times families and students think that they need to have a mile-long resume list for scholarships. And I always want to say it is quality over quantity. When you're really looking into those scholarships, especially, for the premier, the leadership, even if it's not even just being president of, X amount of clubs, you could still be at work and be a leader. You can still be volunteering in your community and be a leader. But how can you talk about that? What do you speak on? What does it mean? The big question is people are going to ask you is why? Why is that important to you? And that's what you need to be able to speak on. So I always tell people, like what Victoria said, be pointy. If you have a couple things that, you are amazing at and that you're passionate about, do that, do it well, and talk about it.
I would like to debunk the myth that somehow college admissions is like the Hunger Games, that we're throwing all of our offers of admission into a cornucopia and we're like, kids, good luck. Because the question I get asked a lot, and I'm sure my colleagues do too, is how do I stand out to admissions offices? Know this, my friends, when your application hits our virtual desk, nobody's reading them on paper really anymore, we're all reading them on our screen. If you have done your research and you have done your work to see, am I a good fit for this institution? And you portray yourself pointy or well-rounded, whichever way you are. I like to say well lopsided, so I just use different verbiage. But the fact that you have some interest in our institution and that academically you're going to be successful, but that you are bringing other things, that's all you need to be. You don't have to have like a certain number of AP classes or a certain number of activities. Be you, because here's the secret of admissions. We get to know you as individuals. We get to know you as humans. We get excited about the possibility that you become part of our campus family. And the day you call us or the day you just get on your computer and you're like, okay, I'm submitting my enrollment deposit, and we see that pop up on our computer, we do a little happy dance. So as scary, I guess, as this process, or intimidating as this college search process can be, know that there's a huge human element to it as well. And whatever questions, whatever concerns, whatever mess you have that you want to share with us so that we get to know you better, we are happy to do that. and we will be happy to see you on move-in day and give you the biggest hug ever.
And I would say, lastly, just if you apply to a school and you're admitted to a school, that doesn't mean you have to go there. You can always look around. So if you're looking at 2 or 3 different schools, definitely apply to them, because that gets you on their list, and kind of sets you up for success as far as their process individually.
Wonderful. Thank you all so much. And thank you for joining us. When you close this window, there will be a link to a very quick 5-question survey. We'd appreciate any feedback you can provide. We encourage you to check back at the schedule and sign up for more sessions throughout the rest of this week. You'll be able to find this session's recording as well as all of the other session recordings at strivescan.com/launch. Thank you so much.